Hare Krishna devotee, let us start with prayers. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So today we are starting with a fresh chapter 14, the three modes of material nature. We'll chant the shloka first, text number 1. Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Param Bhuyah Pravakshyami
Param Bhuya Prakshami
Jnanam Jnanamuttamam
Jnanam Jnanam Uttamam
Yajñātva Munaya Sarve
Yajñātva Munaya Sarve
Param Siddhim Ito Gataha
Param
Param
Siddhim
Siddhimito
Ito
Gata
Gata
Shri Bhagavanu Vacha
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Param
Param Bhuyah Pravikshami
Param Bhuya
Bhuya Shyami
Prakshami
Jnanam Jnanavuttamam
Jnanam
Jnanamuttam
Jnanamuttamam
Yajñātva Munaya Sarve
Yajñātva Munaya
Munaya
Sarve
Sarve
Param Siddhim Ito Gataha.
Param Siddhim
Siddhimito Gata.
Yes, किसका है chanting आज verse?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna to all. Dandavat Pranam. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Param Bhuya Pravakshyami Jnananam Jnanamuttamam Yajñātva Munaya Sarve Param Siddhim Ito Gataha. Synonyms. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Param, transcendental, Bhuya, again, Pravakshyami, I shall speak, Jnananam, of all knowledge, Jnanam, knowledge, Uttamam, the Supreme, Yat, which, Jnatva, knowing, Munaya, the sages, Sarve, all, Param, transcendental, Siddhim, perfection, itah, from this world, gatah, attain. Translation. The Blessed Lord said, Again I shall declare to you this supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained to supreme perfection. Purport. From the 7th chapter to the end of the 12th chapter, Sri Krishna in detail reveals the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, the Lord Himself is further enlightening Arjuna. If one understands this chapter through the process of philosophical speculation, he will come to an understanding of devotional service. In the 13th chapter, it was clearly explained that by humbly developing knowledge, one may possibly be freed from material entanglement. It has also been explained that it is due to association with the modes of nature that the living entity is entangled in this material world. Now, in this chapter, the Supreme Personality explains what those modes of nature are, how they act, how they bind, and how they give liberation. The knowledge explained in this chapter is proclaimed by the Supreme Lord to be superior to the knowledge given so far in other chapters. By understanding this knowledge, various great sages attain perfection and transfer to the spiritual world. The Lord now explains the same knowledge in a better way. This knowledge is far, far superior to all other processes of knowledge thus far explained, and knowing this, many attain perfection. Thus, it is expected that one who understands this 14th chapter will attain perfection. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So his verse spoken by Krishna himself, Sri Bhagavan Vacha, Param Bhuyah Pravakshami. I shall speak Jnananam of all knowledge, Jnanam, knowledge. Uttamam, this is supreme knowledge. Munayaha Yajgyatva Munayaha Sarve. Munaya means sages, all sages. Again, I shall declare to you this supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all sages have attained to supreme perfection. Supreme perfection here is the perfection of human form life. So all the human beings are entangled here in this material world due to intense material desire in the heart. And perfection of human form life is if we can transform these material desires into spiritual desire, we can attain love for God, transformation of lust to love. That is called real perfection of human form life. Real perfection of human form life is if we can always act under direction of super soul, Paramatma in the heart. Originally, all the jivas were created so that they act under direction of the Lord. Jivera Surupa Hoye Nityara Krishna Das. All the jivas originally were created by the Lord as servant of Krishna. That is the real constitution position. Of course, when we talk about servant, it's not like servant of this material world, where a master exploits the servant, and servant also is not inclined to serve the master only because he is being paid for that. So he serves like that. But here we are talking about servant position of jivas in the spiritual world. So in the material world, the perfection of human form life is when the jiva agrees to act as per direction of Paramatma. That is called perfection of human form life. When he never forgets Krishna any moment of his life, every moment. A crude example is just like in our house, if we see if there is a maid servant in your house who stays there, so he's always conscious. He's always conscious of the owner of the house. Anytime you call him, he will be ready. Yes, sir. Or in the offices, if you see, they keep a bell. As soon as the master will ring the bell, immediately the servant is, yes, sir. So, like that, when a jiva becomes always alert, becomes conscious of the presence of Paramatma in the heart, that I have to act under his direction. That is my role. But if we don't act as per the direction of Paramatma or Krishna, then what we will do? We have to act. We cannot stop our activities. Then we will act as per our mind, senses. False ego will be misdirected by lust. That will not satisfy the soul. So we are always followers. We are always meant to follow. If we don't follow Krishna, we will follow somebody else. We will follow our material desires. And these desires are all illusory desires. They cannot satisfy the soul. They will not help us. They will not help us to reach anywhere in any perfection. Correct? So, perfection means to act as per direction of Paramatma. But right now, my position is I cannot see Paramatma in the heart. He's there. I don't know. Where is he? So, how will I act under his direction? Huh? How will I act as per his direction? I don't know Paramatma. I cannot see him. So, that is why very important step in approaching Krishna is there is a role of a devotee also. You cannot approach Paramatma, you cannot see him, you cannot understand him. But there is a pure devotee of Krishna who knows what is position of Krishna, who can see presence of Paramatma. So if you approach that pure representative of Krishna, and if you act as per his direction, that means you are acting as per direction of Paramatma. Why it is like that? Because in case of pure devotees, they get live direction from Paramatma. Every moment they are being guided by Paramatma in their life. So they are fully surrendered onto the Lord. Each and every moment they act for the pleasure of Paramatma, under direction of Paramatma sitting in the heart. Correct? So when we act as per direction of that devotee, who plays the role of a spiritual master in our life, that means we are acting in direction of Paramatma. But if you are only thinking of pleasing Paramatma, then that is also not perfection of spiritual life. Paramatma is not alone. Paramatma means his devotees are also there. So you are also meant to act in a proper way when you're dealing with his devotees, Krishna's devotees. There also Paramatma is observing our activities, our thought process, how we are dealing with other devotees. If somebody thinks, no, I will not interact in this world with anyone, I will not bother about anyone, I will just think about Krishna only. No, Krishna means his devotees also, his associates, everyone is there. So that is why Krishna has created this kind of organization like Hare Krishna movement, where all devotees get together and then we interact with other devotees. There is real test of our spiritual life, how we deal with other devotees, other Vaishnavas. Because there also Paramatma is observing our thought process, our dealings with them. Because spiritual world is not only about Krishna. Spiritual world also means there are devotees, pure devotees of Krishna. And we have to deal with them also there. We are not going to deal with only Krishna there. We are going to deal with other pure devotees who are serving Krishna. And what is the mood of devotees there? The devotees' mood is Gopi Bharatu Pad Kamalayor Dasanudas. Everybody is trying to serve other Vaishnavas there. That pleases Krishna more than anything else. So that also we are meant to learn. How I have to deal with other Vaishnavas, other devotees, other part and parcel of Krishna. Just like you meet a person, a married person. So suppose you are meeting him with his family members. So if you only interact with him, you don't interact with his children, with his wife, he will not feel good about it. He would like you to interact with all his family members. Right? Similarly, Krishna means Krishna and his devotees also. Everybody is there. That is how we attain perfection in devotion service. So there are two parts, how to deal with Krishna and how to also deal with his devotees. That is how we attain perfection. Then that is how we develop love for everyone. Love for Krishna means love for each and every jiva in this creation. That is called pure love. So when we practice Krishna consciousness like this, then we understand everything in a proper way. Then we learn how to take association of devotees. So devotees, those who are more mature than me, those who are more serious than me, I take guidance from them. Devotees are those who are new to our, uh, Hare Krishna movement, those who are new to Krishna consciousness. So then I give them instruction, I guide them, I help them in their bhakti. And those devotees, those who are equal to me, I develop friendly relationship with them. So a devotee knows how to deal with different types of devotees. Correct? Where to take association, where to give association, and where to have friendly relationship. All this is part of spiritual life. So real age of a person increases, as Krishna mentioned here, that again I shall declare to you the supreme wisdom, the best of the knowledge. Real maturity or real age of a human being increases by attaining spiritual wisdom in his life, not by material age. Real maturity or real growth of human form life happens when you attain wisdom, knowledge, understanding. And that wisdom comes then when the first step, faith, is there. Faith is very important. Strong faith, whatever Krishna is completely perfect. I have no doubts about it. Of course, that faith is not sentimental faith. Faith is which is backed up with proper understanding, proper discussion, contemplation is done. Wisdom comes when we contemplate on instructions of Krishna again and again, think about them. That is how it transforms into wisdom. So Krishna is declaring that this supreme wisdom, just like we can see Prahlad Maharaj, his material age was 5 years, 5-year-old boy. But the wisdom what he has shared in Bhagavatam, although our material age is much more than Prahlad Maharaj, still we are taking guidance from Prahlad Maharaj. He was guiding everyone. He is guiding us also today. That is called real age of a human being. Age increases by wisdom, not by bodily changes. So it mentioned that if one understands this chapter through process of philosophical speculation, he will come to an understanding of devotion service. In the 13th chapter, it was clearly explained that by humbly developing knowledge, one may be possibly be freed from material entanglement. So this material entanglement is there because we still have hope that there is real happiness, real ananda in this material world. But freedom from material entanglement will happen only when we understand real ananda exists only on spiritual platform. This is all illusory happiness which is there. This cannot satisfy my soul. So that is why faith is very important. And faith becomes very strong when we take regular association of devotees. Regular association devotees means regularly hearing from pure devotees of Krishna. That injects strong faith in the heart. That is why it is recommended that we hear from a pure devotee as much as possible. Whenever you're traveling, going somewhere, you're sitting in a flight, you don't have any other engagement, just use your earphones. And there's so many lectures of Srila Prabhupada today. You can go to SoundCloud or you can open YouTube channels. So many lectures are there of Srila Prabhupada. Just play one lecture, hear that lecture. Just by hearing lectures of Prabhupada can inject strong faith in your heart. So powerful it is. This Vani is not ordinary Vani of pure devotee. Just by hearing this Vani of Srila Prabhupada, all over the world, devotees have got transformed. What Srila Prabhupada has done is not ordinary. Transforming 10,000 jivas all over the world to the extent that they were ready to give up their life for Krishna. That level of transformation Prabhupada has done all over the world. Not ordinary. Nobody can do that. There were so many spiritualists from India who went there outside in different countries and they gave very famous speeches there. But nobody could transform them to accept Vedic culture, what Prabhupada has done. Srila Prabhupada made them wear saffron robes, shave their heads. Not easy. Who can do that? Only acharyas can do. Pure devotees of Krishna, they are empowered by the Lord. They can do that. And how this, so many devotees, they got transformed. Why? Because hearing from Prabhupada. Vani is very powerful. As soon as we hear from a pure devotee, it can transform the heart of us. So first, have faith from our side and hearing from a right source. Both are important. It has also been explained that it is due to association with the modes of nature, the living entities entangled in this material world. Now, in this chapter, Supreme Personality explains that what those modes of nature are, how they act, how they bind, and how they give liberation. Right, so we'll study about three modes here: Satoguna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna, and then it will be explained later on that the topmost mode of material nature, favorable for spiritual life, is Sattoguna, mode of goodness. Mode of goodness comes when we follow the regulatory principles in our life, when we avoid sinful activities, when we take Krishna Prasadam, when we chant every day. So that is why everyday chanting is very important, because chanting means you're taking association with Krishna. Now, Prabhupada ji has given a very famous example. Iron rod in touch with fire also becomes like fire. So why chanting is very important every day, not only every day, whenever we get time. Because the more you chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the more you're touching Krishna again and again. And Krishna is compared to like fire. We are like iron rod. You touch iron rod with fire, it will also become like fire. So we develop a lot of Sattva in our life just by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Again and again touching Krishna by chanting. Of course, there are many other ways of touching Krishna, by having darshan of Krishna, by hearing kirtan of the Lord, by reading Bhagavad Gita. There also we are touching Krishna. But chanting is the easiest process by which we can be in touch with the Lord every moment. So even if a person is bereft of this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, if he simply chants, still he can make progress. So powerful this chanting process. Okay, so I will end here. If anybody has any question, they can ask. So we have already announced that we are planning a trip to Sri Lanka, Ramayana Yatra. So I think a lot of devotees have already registered. If you have not registered for the trip and you wish to come, please do let us know, because otherwise it's very difficult to get the flights for the trip. And devotees who are going to read the verses in Bhagavad Gita, they can once read the verse before coming for the session so that you know what is there in the verse. And if you wish, you can share few points. Okay. So I will end here. Thank you very much for joining us. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.